black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
we're coming. Get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
That was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your birthday. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that and a bag of chips. Let me do your hair. Hey, what's happening? What's happening, good people? Remember that? What's happening, black? Hey, if y'all know about what's happening, black, y'all put the hand clap in the emoji in the chat. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? How you wonderful, wonderful people doing out there? Y'all know who it is, right? It's me, your homegirl, Ladosha Wright, aka Key Lolo, coming to you live and direct from the Reference Design Team Hair Salon. That's right. I'm here at work. My homeboy, Dr. Spritz, is back there slaying up some hairstyles. And then right over here, y'all know who that is, right? The one and only, what's up, boo? What's up? The one and only BMF, aka Cheryl Morrow, the hair oracle. We are really, really excited to be with you guys. We're talking about 119 episodes in on the dumbest, and we do mean the dumbest ish that people say about black hair. Then we are here to kind of, how they say it, make it make sense. So we're going to try to make it make sense. This episode is all about, is the natural hair movement relevant? So what we're going to do, well, we got some new family. What's going on? Kay, go off. How you doing? How you doing? She already come through the chat. Kay, ready? Kay. I'm going to put the music on so we can welcome some more people into the chat. We're going to play our wonderful, wonderful Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair by none other than Sister Rachel Evans. It is our official theme song, and we do have permission to use it. She came into the chat and said, it's all yours, go for it. But again, if you would like your very own copy to play in your line of work, or just because you love hair, then remember you can go to all of the music download platforms and purchase, and let's support our indie artists. So let's get ready for some Sister, Let Me Do Your Hair. Let me do your hair. Hey.
Got your water?
Beautiful. Hey, come on in. Get you guys, grab your water, get you some popcorn, some snacks. If you got some snacks, you know, and we're going to have a wonderful discussion. I'll be so very happy if you would let me do your hair. Come on, let me and Cheryl do your hair. We're going to hook y'all up. Check it out. Let me do your hair. Let us do your hair. We're going to treat you guys so wonderful. Let me do your hair. Let me do your hair. Come on in. Have a good time. Great discussion. Hey. Survivor.
And struggles won't get the best of you. I want to help you. Let me help your light to shine through. You'll be
I'm so
very
happy
if you
If you will let me do your hair. Come on, let us do your hair. Let us do your hair. Let us do your hair. Let me do your hair. Let me do your hair. Oh, we just want to do your hair just a little bit, like a little ponytail or something.
Yeah. You gotta have to come back a little bit.
Hey. Hey. The sexy saxophone gets everybody in the mood. Come on in, come on in, come on in. Yeah. Hey, y'all do the snake. Hey, there they come back in with that. Let me do your hair. All we want to do is hair.
All we want to do is hair.
That's what we want to do. Just want to, bust a couple of naps, you know what I'm saying? Not one or two. Fried diet, lay it to the side. Lick Rick, full of tricks. What's happening? What's happening? That's the sexy saxophone. And again, you have just heard Sister Let Me Do Your Hair. And it is by none other than Sister Rachel Evans. And we want you guys to go ahead on and support our sister. And again, we are on, I think we're like a 118 episodes in, I believe. Let me make sure I get this right. So you guys can be on the countdown with us. No, sorry, 120. Okay. No, 119. 119 episodes in. And again, the topic today is the natural hair movement, is it relevant? Is it going out of style? Is it whack? Because these ain't nothing but hairstyles to us cosmetologists. We've been trying to figure out since the beginning of time with this.
Right.
Some natural hair. But y'all can call me a hater. I'm used to it. What's happening? Welcome everybody on all of our social media platforms. Welcome Facebook. How you doing out there, Facebook? Of course, LinkedIn. How are our bougie trolls doing? We love LinkedIn. All the intelligent people are over on LinkedIn and they're checking us out. You guys may definitely want to hop over to LinkedIn because that's where the professionals are hanging out at. They have wonderful, wonderful articles on LinkedIn. And they've kind of loosened up their buttons a little bit so you can kind of get through it a little bit more. And they have some cool features. So if you haven't had an opportunity to get onto LinkedIn, please make sure you do. Cheryl drops some dope articles on LinkedIn and some other podcasts because she's always on other platforms as well. So please check out LinkedIn. And so hello to our LinkedIn family. How are you guys doing? Then, of course, the YouTube streets. What's happening out there? What's up, black? What's up, black? And whatever other color you call yourself. So how you doing out there? And of course, what's happening? Instagram. How you doing over there on Instagram? Instagram's been doing a wonderful job hanging out with us for the past about a month or so. So I'm going to give credit to Sir Pooh for that. I believe Sir Pooh himself is solely responsible for making sure we get some visibility over on Instagram. And Cheryl and I, we're going to try to get over on TikTok sooner or later. We will be on TikTok because TikTok, if you think YouTube is wow, TikTok is off the Richter scale. But anywho, we're going to hop into our topic with some current events. All right, Cheryl, I got a couple of current events here. All right. So the first one, all right, let me give a couple of shout outs in the chat because they in the chat having the whole conversation. They ready, sure. You see them in the chat, they all like, K go off, like Bismarck is a going off. The biz Go off, go off. What's up, Kay? What's up, Weekend? LB is in the chat. She said she's got to make some runs today, and then we have some wonderful people over on Instagram. What's going on, Simone Brady? How you doing over on Instagram? It's so nice to see you guys in the chat. And again, we talked about our new followers. Welcome. We're so excited to have an authentic build here. Cheryl and I, we really, really appreciate you. So here we go. Let's hop into some of these current events. So the first one, I'm petty, right? You know, y'all know I'm in the K-Hive, and I'm a hottie for Harris, okay? So I'm about to be real petty. You too? All right. So did y'all know that Trump was using Isaac Hayes' music without his permission? Did you know that, Cheryl? I mean, Isaac Hayes, rest in peace. He is no longer with us, but his family, they found out, got wind that he was using some stuff that Isaac Hayes had written and so on and so forth. And here's what the family had to say. You ready? Bam! Can we give Isaac Hayes' family a big, fat round of applause? Come on, let's give it up for Isaac Hayes' family. The family of Isaac Hayes says, hey, let me tell you something. Let me tell you something, Trump. You better stop using our songs.
My daddy shit.
Hey, the article also goes on to say that we got to give them another round of applause. The article also goes on to say that, let me make sure I got this right. The family is actually saying, you know what? Not only are we going to ask you to please stop using our family's music, but we're going to sue you for they want $3 million for what they've been using so far. Now, I don't know how they come up with those margins or whatever, but in any event, so there it is.
Well, $1 million for 3 months. How long have he been using?
Okay. Well, they want $3 million. And let me just give Isaac Hayes, because you got to have some cojones to stand up to number 45. So a big cat.
What song?
They got, I didn't, that was, they got, yeah, you got it. You hit it. You hit it right on. I was just about to make sure, but
I'm coming.
Yeah. So Isaac Hayes' family said, no, ma'am, no, sir, no cigar, chief, no cigar. All right. Okay. So that's just how it's going on. All right. Next up, we have now the current events, of course, they're going to lead us into our topic. Again, it's about, is the natural hair movement, is it truly, truly, truly relevant? Okay. But before we go just a little bit, is the natural hair movement relevant? I just want to let everybody know I had a very candid discussion with Miss Wike. She is in the chat. And she's from Boston, or she's in Boston. And I asked her, did she know about Olive Benson? And she did not, but she took the opportunity to learn more about Olive Benson. Now, in every state, there's so much history in every ethnicity. But for us in the world of cosmetology as African Americans, AKA Black folk, she did go and learn more about Olive Benson. So bam, shameless plug. I had to throw in my picture. So I told her, if you look at my hair, y'all see it's kind of bootleg Olive Benson. Y'all see that, you know? I be having my gold hoop. Y'all see that? Y'all see the Olive Benson? I know her family gonna be like, please stop trying to be like my mother. No.
Oh my God.
So say a couple of things about, we're not letting Olive Benson die on this platform. Her legacy is here to stay. So
I am you are who you are.
Yeah.
Because of Olive Benson. Olive Benson, for y'all don't know, Olive Benson was our version of maybe, let's just say, a Paul Mitchell, Vidal Sassoon. She was that, and I never forget, she had a big, huge contract with Conair, right? And I remember, because she called Gene Atkinson, which was my mentor, and my dad's technician, and they discussed it, and that is one of the, after that, she tried to bring hot rollers and things of that to the Conair company. The Conair was that yellow blow dryer. Remember the yellow bird?
Yellow bird. Y'all remember the yellow bird? Come on. Drop a bird in the chat for Olive Benson. Come on.
Right.
Okay.
But I remember how when I tell this story about when I had my audition, Naomi Sims salon, and I had to do my audition for James Harris in front of Olive Benson,
I don't know how you survived that.
Calvin, James Harris, Rudy Townsend, and what's the famous model commentator for Fashion Fair all those years for Eunice Johnson?
Oh, I was gonna say.
I forgot her name. Real
Okay.
tall model. Anyway, the point is I remember Olive Benson was the quietest out of all of them because she knew my ass was scared.
Right.
She didn't really bother me too much, and she knew that was really unfair. That was
Yeah.
truly unfair.
Yeah.
But my ass passed.
Right. I know that's right. I know
I did, but she didn't. She didn't. She just started talking about, I come on now, represent your daddy, and just calm down, and
right.
everything will be okay.
Yeah, when now this is before the internet, guys. So remember, if you heard this
Audrey
story
Small.
again,
Audrey Small.
Audrey Small. Okay, yeah. So that's the fashion fair model that she's making reference to. Now, if you heard this story before, I'm just going to zip right through it. But I have been following, reading about Olive Benson before I became a cosmetologist, and this was before the internet. So everything that I've read about her, I had to literally go to the library and look for old magazine articles and appear. She is actually mentioned in a lot of what do you call those? The white papers, the imperial. What do they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she is in a lot of those. She's mentioned because she helped improve, the hair color so that we could color, our hair without so much breakage. So she was very involved and played a pivotal role in helping them make hair color safer for textured hair. And so when she called me on the phone, I met her through a news anchor. Her name was Karen Holmes, and so Karen Holmes, I met her through my field instructor when I was in college. And so I talked to her on the phone for about 15 minutes. We were just chit-chatting back and forth. And she says, oh, I failed to introduce myself. I said, oh, okay, yeah, well, what's your name? And she said, Olive Benson. And, hey, yo, WK, I just started crying. I was like, I can't. And anybody who knows me knows I'm a crybaby. I cried so hard. I couldn't believe that I was talking to her. So we thought that would definitely be a little wonderful current event. And so thank you, WK, for taking some time out to get to know and learn a little bit more, rather, about Miss Olive Benson. And if you want to know more about her, please make sure you just Google her. I don't think the family has a salon anymore. Is that correct, Cheryl?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
But Boston, I mean, she made Boston, Massachusetts, her home, and just an elegant of a lady.
Yeah. I don't think if you go there, if you find your way in there, just make sure you do your rounds and look for some history. And I'm sure she's going to come up. Yeah, go ahead.
You know what? What is fascinating though? There is a bank called One United Bank. If you guys look that up right now, One United Bank.
Okay.
It's called One United Bank. There's a very, just want to give you a little tidbit once you find that bank.
Okay.
And CEO and president of that bank for probably many years. One of the oldest and most powerful black banks in the world. And the headquarters was in Boston. And how I got a hold of One United Bank.
There it is, guys.
I'm talking to the CEO, and her name was, if you can go, I don't know if you go to our story, but the president of that time was Terry Williams. I think Terri Williams, if I'm not mistaken. And the moment and how we got it to talking, I guess they wanted to do a credit card or something with my dad, and it never came to fruition, but they had a debit card and they wanted to bring more hairstylists and beauty. And they also sponsored a film festival in Los Angeles. But guess what?
What?
The moment I says, I don't know how long you've been in Boston, but do you know of the late, great Olive Benson. She says, that was my hairstylist.
Oh, wow.
And it's so funny. And that's how we bonded over our relationship. And every time we talk about Olive Benson.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it. Some good old fashioned Black history in the hair and, of course, in banking. So make sure you go check that out. Again, some super duper shout outs. What's up, BFF? I see you in the chat coming through. What's happening, Monica? We got ATL representing. Kay Washington, what's happening, Miss Kay? So glad to see you in the chat. We appreciate you. And then, of course, everybody else and on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. We're very, very excited to have you guys in the chat now. I just want to give you guys a warning. I'm not going to be on long because I have to go check on my brother this evening. So he's still holding up there pretty good, and he appreciates all the prayers and everything. So let's hop right into it. We're talking about 119 episodes in, and we're going to go about talk about for real, seriously, guys, though, is the natural hair movement, is this situation, is it still relevant? Now, I'm going to play a clip that Cheryl and I, we already saw it a little bit earlier today, and it's with the young man in Texas. And so they pretty much kicked the case out, by the way. They said, So the judge said that's got to go. So here is where they are in conclusion with what's happening. And so this is going to set the tone for is the natural hair movement relevant? Okay, here we go.
The way he laid out his argument. But when you're looking at this crown neck, I mean, we have to think about what it says. We're saying it's creating and respecting an open world for natural hair. Father of 3 daughters, married to a woman that wears an afro. I mean, this type of case really confuses me because now you're saying that you're not going to allow a person to enjoy their First Amendment constitutional protected rights just because they failed to cite case law that says it's protected. Our Constitution clearly protects individuals' ability to do these types of things. And so disheartened by this case, but this isn't the end of the law for that.
It's a really interesting case.
Very interesting. So let's hop, like what Chris Cuomo say, let's get into it.
Let's get
go into it. Get involved. Get into it. Get involved. So they're saying now, the natural hair movement, that situation was extremely powerful and influential, so to the point that they've been able to get the powers that be to buy into protecting and creating a respectful and open world for this new thing called natural hair. But as you can see, it's not quite working. Now, of course, I'm not saying because and this is in one state, this isn't federal, right, guys, that because he kicked it out, that doesn't mean it's not relevant. But I in my professional and personal opinion, the way they wrote that whole thing, like he said, citing case law, I think they went wrong when they allowed the pseudo claims, even the term natural, that was the slippery slope that they cannot climb out of. So let's start right there. And I'm not going to say it's making it lose its relevance, but I believe the way they set it up made it not very relevant in the court of law. That the way that they wrote it, okay? So Cheryl, let's take it from there.
And to be very clear, the judge said, in other words, when he said you failed to cite case law, in other words, what he meant by that is that because we do not have any cases that argued on the basis that you guys are arguing on, nor do we have any past history in the courts of this complaint. In other words, is hair discrimination even really real, right? And so now that you've got this soft, wet, and pink bill on the books, and just because the state has sanctioned it as, I guess, discriminatory, it doesn't mean that the courts have to abide by it because there is no case law to back it. In other words, there is no prior any arguments on the basis of hair discrimination being real. And so once now that that is a precedence and that is the judge's ruling, my thing is that now that hairstylists and practitioners and now the natural hair care, the movement or the natural hair movement, now you have egg on your face because you created a social and cultural movement that now there is no there. And now we're not even creating a think tank to even fix it. And so I think that it's fixable if hairstylists and professionals, barber stylists, we get together and put real, factual, scientific, cultural, social phenomenon with it, and some exceptions in terms of how we historically interact with the federal government just for the last 404 years. If we can prove that and create a new argument, then there we have another basis and something to take for judges to look at in terms of just some other nuances, and to have a new argument. But we can't do it because now the politicians have framed it in this natural other that has never happened in Black culture. Natural has never happened before. Afro curly science from the man whom we have any knowledge, Willie L. Morrow, wrote it. It was subject to a people, which started out as cutting and studying Negro hair. Then he went to Afro curly hair, and that's where the science is.
Right. And I think what happened is that with the push of the moving away from the chemicals and trying to say that if you put chemicals in your hair that somehow it wasn't natural, that again, it just was not a good thing, because if you color your hair, it's still your hair,
Right.
It's still.
You see how law has not separated and does not care about chemical treatments, upgrading, downgrading the actual genetic of your hair in the first place. It only sees your choice of a twist, a lock, a bun, a kente knot, a weave. It doesn't separate what you did to it to make it and to have you wear it the way you want it. What it is saying is at you can't prove discriminatory of that particular hairstyle. And when you made it hairstyle and protective hairstyle, that is mutable.
It changes. You can change it. It's not like.
Right. And you went away from the real argument, which is the constitutional right to be able to satisfy the dress code. And if they still discriminate after you meet the requirements of dress codes, because dress codes are protected by the Constitution, right? Once you satisfy that, then it becomes discriminatory in terms of unfair burden.
Right, because once you go home, all bets are off. They should have considered that, but they did not consider it. But I tell you who is considerate is our virtual co-host, Miss Sandra, is in the chat. So let's welcome her, guys. She's already in the chat. What's up, Sandra? We're so glad to see you back in the chat. And so she's asking everybody to please make sure you go ahead on and hit that thumbs up button, because it's getting hot in here as we talk about is the natural hair movement relevant. Now, one of the things that's going to set the tone, again, we started off with the whole law thing, but we're going to go ahead and take it on back. All right. Now, it's no big secret that I got into hair by way of being an outreach worker, working with families. And so in my exposure to the situation, it was the not knowing, right? Nobody knew what to do. So what we see with this natural hair movement, and sure, you just coined it so beautifully, is making it up as we go along. Now, remember, she said her dad had already put some things in place because we did not have it. And none of that's even brought up. They didn't even set the frame for that Crown Act. They didn't even take it back, talking about how we already came into this country at a disadvantage, trying to be set a standard of beauty and health. Everything was based off of white people. So that already was a situation that they should have even started right there. But anywho, so here we have, now I'm not going to show any videos because I couldn't find videos to really capture. But what's happening is there's a lot of feedback that's being written by way of Reddit. So here is what this is a club or a chat called Our Black Girls. Black Girls on Reddit. And so they put up a video of this young lady who's saying that the rampant uptick of anti-natural hair videos on social media, and it is an uptick. And so the issue is that she's saying it's because they don't know how to wear it / do their own hair. And this is where the rubber meets the road. The natural hair movement did a horrible job at informing the public of what they should be doing to their hair. Cosmetologists, it wasn't enough of us to really combat how social media gave this such a huge platform. And I just think we just wasn't ready. And so that's where I want to take the second point to, is the reality is that we didn't come here with a toiletry bag, and we had someone, Dr. Willie Morrow, and some others, Madam C.J. Walker, Annie Turbo Malone. They had given us some keys, to help us navigate. But all of this using water, putting hair strands of water in the cups, and if it floats, if it sinks, dude, bad situation. So the uptick is real. And Cheryl, what you say about making it up as you go along, and now the public is in a bad situation. They've got bad. We're not anti the Crown Act. We're anti the way they wrote the bill. Okay, the way they wrote the law. No cigar. We hope we're giving you guys something to think about. And anybody who wants to, drop your comments in the chat. We love to hear from you. Do you believe that the natural hair movement is no longer relevant? Because the other thing is that these were hairstyles, right, Cheryl?
Yeah.
So when they say no Bantu knots at work, remember a lot of hairstyles were trends. And so I can recall a time when even Black people were saying, oh, braids are not professional. So we really can't get mad at white people for saying some of this stuff, because we were setting the tone in our own spaces and places about what was professional and what was not professional, not realizing that a lot of this stuff are just trends. So Cheryl, take it away right there about the trends of hairstyles that the younger generation probably just didn't know anything about.
And let me just start by expounding on what you just said. I think that, the natural hair care world was created on the premise that nothing existed before it.
Good point.
And so when they went forward, they thought novice was good enough. They thought that just because we were Black, they totally ignored that maybe just because cosmetology does have only a set of rules and regs, you can go to school and you get a license and that certificate. No, it does not represent the gamut, but it does represent training and some set of truths that is applicable in the salon as you become a professional. And so they disrespected that process, and they disavowed and disconnected and disengaged and act like that was not there. And so when they also realized that, they also ignored the fact that anything before them, like most young generations do, nothing existed before. So therefore that they could just make it up as they went, right? And so now that we need to question, is it still relevant 24 years later? It's not that it's not relevant. It just wasn't scientifically true. And so now that consumers have used them 24 years later, they now are seeing that they are just as ill-equipped to comb, to brush, to wash, to wet, to stretch, to do these things. And they now understand and have probably more respect for the cosmetology process, because now they are going back wanting to obtain some kind of certificate in as such as licensing and training. The problem is that what is in the secular vernacular, now the words we use are now no longer true.
Yeah,
The language, yeah.
right. And I think like when academia, like when professors, when they got into it, because a lot of professors were abandoning their careers. You know, you had people who were going to school to be doctors and attorneys and, you know, nurses and all types of, high education, certifications. They were walking out on those careers, really banking on this natural hair movement thing to really take them financially to another level. And they thought and that to your point about the whole vernacular, terms like natural, protective, the list goes on and on and on. The hair typing. I was floored that academia bought into the hair typing. I mean, academia is big on sourcing and with all due respect to things like what you call that, oral history, those types of things. Not to knock that part, but hair typing doesn't fall into that category. But I was very disappointed that academia really, they bought into the hair typing, knowing that race is a pseudoscience. Where the construct, we're not going to argue the social, what they call that credit and all the other good stuff, that it's real. But I was really disappointed that academia fell for a lot of this. And now what we're seeing is that they can't seem to, jive, talk their way out of it, because these judges are like, we sticking to the law, the way they're writing, they're giving feedback on it. Here's another one that we see here, Cheryl. This is all of this stuff is coming off of Reddit. Also, if you go into Google and you just Google about the relevant, and like Cheryl was saying, it's not that it's not relevant, but we're just seeing a lot of backlash. So here they go. They ripping you off, sis. Denial is a river in Egypt. Woo, they came in hard. And so they said, if they're telling you to do these different things because, Kiki down the street effed up your hair, trying to push that your hair is heat trained, all of this stuff, which is what you guys are saying in the chat, a lot of this stuff has been terribly misleading, trying to convince you that you can take your Afro hair and make it look another texture. This is probably the biggest disappointment. People are now coming to the conclusion, I've spent so much money on so many hair care products. I bought so many styling tools and so many brushes and so many apparatuses. I still do not like my hair. It's cold. I can't do it. So what do we say about the natural hair movement overselling and under delivering?
Well, the manufacturers are also a little complicit here, because
we could always count on Cheryl to do what y'all. Hold on right here. You know what she gonna do? She gonna drop the bomb. Cheryl, you just went there.
Well, here's the thing, because once we started out the conversation and you told me what we were going to talk about, the relevancy has to come in my opinion, for brackets, and that is sociocultural, that is socioeconomic, right? That is salon and barber profession as an industry. And to me, and now you have the whole, in terms of technology, what those are for, are they relevant in those four demographics? But I will say, when you make up a language, a glossary, we have a glossary of terms and things, and we have a new handbook, and we already, they didn't like the fact that professionals was writing the books, or Milady was writing them, or other people. So they decided to just make it up and rewrite it. So now we have a glossary. They also made brands based on that glossary. And when you have now that they cannot solidify at this point, so this is why we're questioning it. They cannot solidify, and they cannot scholarly be able to make it work for the consumer, because now it doesn't have any applied science to it. And so now we're time. And now we're stuck and embarrassed because texture in a typical or a type, not scientific, doesn't exist. And see, the only thing that can transfer, let's say the 4B to that picture, a 3C or 3B, is only product. No, yeah. It's product. So there again, the manufacturer of that product is complicit.
Wow. Did you guys catch that? Again, let me tell you again. Here we go. Stop. Hammer time. All right, now. Okay, there it is. That's MC Hammer. We don't own the rights to that. Hammer on. Please, Hammer. Please, Cheryl, don't hurt him. Stop hammer time. Here it is. If your hair does not revert back to its previous curl pattern like before, they said, let that go. Hence, the dumbest. And we do mean the dumbest shit that people say about black hair is this thing called heat damage. Just stop it. Cut it out. Just let it go. Stop falling for that. It's a fabric. And the more you wear it, it's just naturally, that's just what it does. Do not cut your hair. You hear what this girl said? She said, F that. She's cussing all in this. Let that stuff go. They're just taking your money. So what? You got some stringy.
And what is really strange about some of the vernacular in some of the terms and phrases that they created, the bedrock of the Crown Act is protective hairstyles that are natural, protecting natural hair.
If it's natural, what you protecting?
I just can't get it. And see, and this is the convolution that is just, we've got to stop it, because it's not what professional industry, a professional beauty. And also, if genetics do not support a number and alphabet system to grade it, if genetics and science doesn't support it, can we just give it back to Andre Walker, and he ain't selling his shit no more? So can we just put it in the same graveyard as his product?
And he don't even want to talk about it no more. He already said, listen, the natural hair movement came and they was coming up with all this stuff. All he was trying to do was sell the product. Like she said, he's complicit. He's already said that's all I was trying to do. But people are holding on to this. Watch out for some of that language. Maybe we could do a part 2 to this. Yeah. Let's do a part 2, and we're going to pick out the language that we want y'all to understand. This and one thing only. Here we go, Cheryl.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for all of this crazy stuff. I just can't say it again. When you talk about heat damage, I just like, people would come to the salon like, yeah, you got to cut my hair off because it's heat damage. I'm like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, when you see these stringy pieces, I'm like, girl, if you don't cut that nonsense out, it's not that serious, y'all. So this is a lay person. This is a regular, everyday person giving her 2 cents. And clearly, she, like many of you guys, have been duped and has spent a lot of money. And this is why we actually started this podcast, because that is some of the dumbest that people say about black hair. So here's another one here. All right, here we go. I'm revamping. They run it out. Can't you guys see it? They are running out of gas on this situation. This is Google. You can go to Google today, and this will pop up, depending on your, thing. I'm revamping my hair growth routine with these trending strengthening products. Do you guys go ahead, Cheryl? I'm sorry. They like, shut up, Kilo. I'm gonna shut up. What's up, Instagram? Hey, how you doing, LinkedIn? I'm gonna mute my mic. Take it away, Cheryl. How you revamp?
How do you revamp it? Let me just say this, and I know I've said it before, and this is one of the categories that I had separated this conversation into: is the natural hair movement relevant in the economic sense, right? And so this particular there is not, and I'm going to say this, and I don't mean, and I'm not talking about the people. I'm not talking about the people. I'm not talking about the people who came into the industry, celebrities. I'm not talking about people who came in there with a just dream. I'm not coming in there with a vision or somebody's uncle, auntie, TT, auntie, and none of that. I'm not talking about that. What I am talking about is that the natural hair care movement is, and in fact, I'm not even going to say is, if there's any other reason to create and to make this movement out of vogue, and I mean quickly, and to make it die a slow death, for one reason, because this particular movement is what gave the most market share. Equity has also been a black hole for venture capitalists. It has created a very culture vultures. Okay, it has given the retail dollar to white corporate beauty supply or OTC or FC.
I don't think they hear you though.
Okay.
What's up, Sir Pooh? I'm gonna say it again. What's up? My boss is in the chat. Y'all know what y'all got to do. There she is. Y'all go ahead and drop them L's in the chat for my boss. What's up, Lavina? I don't think they hear you though. I don't think they hear you when you say, "Yo." They gave it away, and we see right quick before you keep adding on to it. Here's a real live person, and you think we're just making this stuff up? This is VK. She said it's no damage. She cut off her hair 3 years ago because people were telling her it was heat damage. Now she knows better. Do you guys understand? This is almost. I told Cheryl I wasn't gonna say this, but I'm gonna say it, Cheryl. Y'all, this natural hair movement, it's skirting on that number 45, that coat, like that far radical. They just okay, I'm gonna stop. Just let me shut up. Okay, Cheryl. I got a few more minutes if I'm gonna take care of my brother. Go ahead, Cheryl. Just let me switch it back to the other one. I can't handle it, y'all.
Well, think about it. If you think about, we only had, do you know that black people don't even talk about, don't even argue about, don't even mention, don't even have nothing to say about Korean beauty supplies no more? Because you gave the freaking money to Target, to Whole Foods, to CVS, Rite Aid, Walmart. You gave the shit to white. And what you didn't know, and now I'm going to say I said, first of all, the question is natural hair care relevant in the socio-cultural subject? Is it relevant in the economic? Is it relevant in terms of the professional salon arena? Is it important in terms of technology and moving forward? And the biggest one is that the natural hair care made it and gave the Heritage Foundation, aka Project 2025, to come in and pillage with the relaxer study, which is the ones who do the research for the Heritage Foundation. Come
on, Cheryl.
And they came after your beauty school hours in terms of your education.
But they don't want to hear you.
That's what happens when you don't know what you're doing.
Y'all don't understand.
Right.
Y'all don't understand now.
Right.
Ahead, I'm sorry.
Then you write stupid laws like the Crown Act and make Black people waste their money with representation such as attorneys and lawyers and thinking they're going to fight on your behalf with that weak ass legislation. And at the end of the day, it comes out of a movement that gave away your mother and father's inheritance. You gave it away, all in trying not to align with your past generation. Right. And it's unfortunate.
Right. It's really.
Yeah. But we cannot do this shit again. We cannot do it.
Listen, we saw this. I don't know if you guys recall this, right? We went down here, right? We went down here to do, to give a presentation about this situation.
Well, tell them where that was. We went down to Bronner Brother to do a hair show, and then we missed the whole hair show.
Right, we missed the whole hair show. To Cheryl's point about this natural, and like we said, we're not picking because we know they didn't do this stuff intentionally. What we are saying but I'm saying is that they didn't realize when they started playing around with this secular thing, right, with this natural hair movement, you guys didn't realize you were giving them, as my mother would say, excuse the expression, the bat to beat our asses with. Because when we went there, right, this young lady here, Miss Kay Cantrell, she was a part of an organization, Beauty Care Professionals or something like that. I forgot the name of it, okay? This young lady here was already involved in an organization who was not even aware that the Heritage Foundation had sent these people in, the Americans for Prosperity. Y'all know who they are. You guys don't see the bigger picture than this young lady here, right? Auntie hair coach, right? With her fists up in the air. She was so empowered by what we were saying about what is happening. Well, y'all like, I'm not with her. Well, then you see what y'all doing? Do you guys see? You're not trying to not. You think when you're saying you're not being with her, you're just anti, maybe some other stuff. But do you see the bigger picture, how we as Black folk, we serve this stuff up to them? This young lady here with her fist in the hair, Auntie Hair Coach, she had never been involved in activism. But that particular day, they were going to snatch all of Atlanta's stuff. When we were in that room, those people, they recognized me. They said, oh, did they, Cheryl? They was like, it's her. It's Kilolo. What the hell is she doing in Georgia? And I was like this. What up, Lo? You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's up, fam? Mika. I was like this in the back. I walked over there to him and said, what up, boo? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? LB, Sir Fool. What's up, Weekend? Everybody in the chat, everybody over.
That was real.
Yeah, it was real because we had to let them know we see y'all coming and we don't realize that we're doing this stuff. And these people, they're taking it. They say, oh, is that how y'all rolling? So you guys don't really need any education.
Now, wait a minute. And had the nerve to come to our, think tank and our workshop, sit in and talk about, excuse me, can we talk?
And wait, and they had gave the young, they picked the young people. They had given them what? Some free what?
And they
hair goodies. They sold out
for
a bag of hair goodies in the Flatiron. They sold us out, Sir Pooh. God dang on. But again, and I'm gonna give Miss Vava, check her out. She was on a couple of weeks ago. Let's give her some credit. Let me give her a big round of applause because she said, you know what? We're not trying to talk about them because they are trying. Those young girls, they really think they are trying. Unfortunately, it didn't work out all the way in their favor, but we were able to stop a large portion of it. So big ups to Kay Cantrell and all of these wonderful people. My BFF Rashida, she gave up her whole day at work to come on and rock that out with us. Now, last but not least, before I run to the hospital and go check on my brother, here is another situation about is this natural hair movement, is it relevant? Okay, so far the vote is in. Cheryl is saying it's still relevant, but they got some more work to do before all bets are off, because they're missing that this is definitely a lot of this is trend. Okay, so last but not least, before we close it out, here is four steps. How to do flat twist in 4 easy steps. Here we go again. It's difficult to manage. Here you go. Now this is In Style magazine, who never had anything to do with this. Here they go. Here you go. I just want to say it right here. This is what they're saying. They said, zooming in on that bit about tension. This makes flat twist a gentler style than cornrows for people with sensitive scalps or fine hair.
You know what? I'm starting to think that we will say anything.
Excuse me. Let me just say it. This is the dumbest. I'm going to get in your face. Watch out, Sir Pooh. Move, Sir Pooh.
Move.
Watch out, Sandra. This is the dumbest that people say about black hair. This makes flat twist gentler than cornrows. Ask anybody, whoever. First of all, who?
Let me just say this. I believe that at this point that we're just saying anything to get what we call tear sheets. We're just saying anything to get.
What are tear sheets? Help us out with that.
To get tear sheets are something to get, to write. So white content platforms like Voss, like anything that has Vogue, anything. We're just saying anything just to get byline and credit and be printed and posted somewhere.
Wow.
I literally think, and y'all can find that article and click on Marquita Lynch. I don't know, but what at the end of the day, we are going to have to start calling each other on the carpet. We just gonna have to start doing it.
Come out those spreads.
Right. Thanks.
I mean, like, this is what we're talking about. First of all, if your hair is in that situation, you ain't got no business doing none of it. And this is what Fatu was talking about during last year's Afro Hair Science Summit. What y'all doing? What you doing talking about this kind of nonsense? Right quick before I head up out of here, Cheryl, super duper shout outs over on Instagram. We got Light Bright. What's happening? Mama Mila, how you doing over there? Delta Diva, so glad to see you. Miss Nise, 809. Mateo Supreme, Mrs. Officer, 818. Centrius Beauty. And again, Simone Brady, Fofo. Kick in the door, wave in the Fofo, all right? So we love you guys.
After this call, man, we are going to have to, and let me just say this, and we ain't trying to take nothing back. We're trying to go from what our ancestors, our foremothers, for those who are first and second and third generation hairstylists, those who have had and wearing the vanguard and carrying the torch of who got a mother or somebody in this particular business. We're gonna have to set it straight. We're gonna have to
set it straight. But before you do that, Sandra said, don't go yet to go check out my brother. Like, I want a sandwich. He texted me and everything. So hold on, Mo, I'm coming. All right. So Sandra said, before you go, Cheryl is going to show you guys how to do one thing to help us get a little bit more followers. And so sure what they got to do, because Sandra like, hit it.
Just take that button and go bam.
Pampa me on, pampa me on.
Woo, this was fire. I think it needs a part 2. Absolutely. We got to come back. What is the natural hair movement relevant? And this time we're going to focus on, like Cheryl said,
a deeper dive.
The language, the lexicon, this whole floating in the water. Where did they come up with? Where y'all get this stuff from? The 4C hair and fairy knots, and all this stuff that just don't make no kind of sense. So we're gonna help. I'm gonna find as much language as I can that they've created, and like shows that they made it up as they went along, and we're going to help make it make sense. So is the natural hair movement relevant? And then we're going to put in a little colon, make it make sense, starting with some of the lexicon. If you guys could be so kind, if you could help us out with this, come on over to all of our platforms, right here on LinkedIn, right here on Facebook, right here on Instagram, and of course YouTube. And please drop in some of the language, some of the lexicon that you've heard, or maybe you've used yourself behind the chair when it comes to this thing called natural hair. So any closing thoughts before I go grab this sandwich for my brother?
Mo! Eat. Bon appetit.
Bon appetit to my big brother Maurice. He's still in the hospital, hanging on in there with us, guys. He says thanks again for all the prayers. And so we thank you guys so very much. And you know what we say when we're signing out, right? We're talking about a whole lot of peace, a whole lot of love, and a whole lot of hair. But check it out. If you ain't got it, don't want it, can't stand it. Hell, you're planning on cutting it off because you got them little bald patches. Y'all know how it is out there in these real hair streaks, We said, don't worry about that. Don't let them talk you into your little stringy piece. Leave that stuff alone, your bald patches. Why? Because all of that is beautiful too. And so are you. Yeah, Cheryl and I, we love you guys very much. Don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. See you on Thursday. We're going to have Ivan Williams talking about how to build your barber and hair salon business over on Planet Pluto Pseudo. We're going to kick the ballistics. Thank you guys so very much. Sandra, make sure you come back and join us because we're going to need you next week. I'm going to have a lot of time, and it's going down. And you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful night. Cheryl, you ready for the chit chat tonight?
I'm ready.
Bam, bam, bam. He or she said, cancel this damn show. They hate it. What? Hold on. Wait a minute.
Make black hair great again.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now,
We're coming, get our check.
Cheryl, Morrow, the one, the only, the hair oracle.
That was Red Dot, and then we also had a cosmetology school instructor in the chat, Miss Denise West, Michelle Allen, Miss Foster. Dang, I missed your name. It's always nice to see Miss Foster in the chat. Michelle Allen, you know how much we love you too.
What? About a whole lot of peace. Cheryl, you order that in a bag of chips.